And we are live. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Dialogues About Death show with Chris Miller. Hey, Chris.
Good morning, everyone. Gosh, it's a new year, new day. It's a beautiful day here in Southern California, and we're gonna get going here soon. We got a packed day this morning, so we've got a lot of questions to ask. We have a special guest on our show, and so let's get started here this morning with some wonderful things. We're going to talk about how we can heal together, and we're really fortunate to have Victoria Stevens on our show today. She's with the Stephan Center, and we've partnered up with the Stephan Center. It is a group that does group workshops and helps people and groups of people get through their griefs and their loss of their loved ones. And so this
Wonderful,
morning,
wonderful organization here in Corona.
it is. It's local. It's within our Inland Empire area, but they are out branching around the country with other Stephan Centers little areas around the country. But we're fortunate enough to have them in our own backyard here in Corona, California. And so this morning we're going to bring Victoria on. We have some questions for her because tomorrow, Saturday morning at 10 a.m., we're having a workshop. We're hosting one at Thomas Miller Mortuary, and there's still about 2 or 3 spots left because we've been advertising this the last few weeks, and we'll have a full house, a full group of people that are in need of some support. And that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to ask Victoria some questions about support and the importance of getting together with other groups of people that are grieving. And so we're going to just move right into our some of our questions for Victoria. Victoria is having some technical difficulties with her camera here this morning. So
Yep.
she isn't with us visually, but she is with us with her voice.
She
And
is.
so,
And we'll be able to hear her loud and clear. So I'm going to go off screen. I'm going to let the two of you talk. We just have a few questions, but again, I'll be popping the registration. It's free to come
it is
to
a
the
free
event tomorrow. Again, it's
free
from
event.
10 to 12. There'll be snacks.
Yep. We'll have some snacks, some coffee, some refreshments, and
It'll be
it's
fun.
just something that we would love for anybody that's within a half hour or less that can drive to Corona that would like to be part of our group. We're looking forward to seeing you and getting help if you need help because of a loss of a loved one over this last year or so.
Yes, that's wonderful. All right, Victoria, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mary, and thank you, Chris, for inviting me this morning and to talk a little bit about the workshop tomorrow and what the Stephan Center does to support people who are grieving.
Yes, we would
Great.
love to know more about that. So I'll let the two of you talk. So why don't you start off by telling us what the Stephen Center, why you created it, and what it does right now in our community.
The Stephan Center is a nonprofit organization. We've been around for a few years. We serve the Inland Empire, but we also serve beyond that because of modern technology. We can do that. The focus of the
Wonderful.
Stephen Center is to educate professionals in helping those who are going through a loss or grieving, and also to
Yeah.
provide programs for those who are grieving themselves. So we do both. So if you're a professional supporting people who are going through a loss, go on our website at thestephancenter.org and you will find programs for you. If you're someone who is going through a loss, either an individual, a family, or you have a child who's experienced some trauma, either in your home or in foster placement, or in what we call out of home placement, where they're living with grandparents or kinship, we have special programs for those children with supportive programs for the adults caring for them. And we also have special programs for the adults. So we encourage you to go on our website. We also have a lot of resources and educational materials and articles that are free for anyone to access.
That's great. Yeah, and we always say grief is about maybe losing a loved one, but it's not necessarily that. Grief, might be going through a transition in your life. It could be a lost job, a divorce, a separation of something, and you might be just feeling that you just need some support. And the Stephen Center is that type of group. So it's not necessarily that you have just actually lost a loved one. It could be a loss of any sort throughout your life, and maybe you just need a little guidance. And so it's a great resource, again, here in Southern California, in the Corona Inland Empire region. Reach out to the stephancenter.org for so many resources. So our first question I have for you here today, Victoria, is why do grief workshops matter when friends and family already try to help?
That's a great question, Chris. Thank you. And there's a difference between grief workshops and grief support groups.
Okay.
So what we're doing tomorrow is more of an educational workshop, and those are one of the things that the Stephan Center offers. It gives you some understanding. So, as what Chris just said was, loss is not death exclusively death related. It's how we think about it in our society because we have different ways of processing legally and then emotionally. We accept loss in relationship to death. But as Chris said, there are a lot of what we call life transitions that also create loss and grief. And so, certainly, losing a job, moving away from home, having parents being deployed, um, variety of types of losses. Divorce is one that we're seeing that our children are often coming to our support groups for because they're going through loss when a family goes through a divorce and the family dynamics change. So we see a variety of losses. So what a workshop does is give you some educational insight
Hmm.
and some ideas of how to support yourself
Hmm.
or to support the people that you're serving. So if you're a professional or what we call paraprofessional, someone
Sure.
like a foster parent, you're working with children who have gone through a variety of losses. And so this gives you some insights on to help them. What's different about a support group is the support group is not necessarily educational in focus. It's more of emotional sharing.
Okay.
And again, with the trained facilitator, just as our workshops are guided by master level counselors and professionals. But a support group is a longer process. It can go anywhere from 6 weeks to 12 weeks. Some group support groups are ongoing. You can come
Okay.
in and out of the group. So that's the difference between a workshop, which is more educational focused, and a support group, which is longer in term and more emotionally supportive.
Great. Thanks for the clarification on the difference between the two. So here's my next question. For someone who's nervous about joining a group, what's the gentlest first step that you can give people to make them feel safe in this type of an environment?
So if you're coming to a workshop, such as the one we're doing tomorrow,
Yeah.
you're coming as a listener,
Okay.
and certainly there'll be an opportunity for questions and answers as you hear the material. But that's more, as I said, is an educational focus. So
Great.
you're not going to be put on the spot. You don't have to contribute in any way. You don't have to feel like you have to reveal anything. That's not the
Wonderful.
focus of a workshop.
That's
Um,
great.
if you're nervous about going to a support group, one of the things that I have found that's helpful, and this is particularly good for people who are supporting someone who's going through a loss,
Uh-huh.
offer to go with them
Okay.
to the first one or two sessions. Usually, if that happens, then people will get into the group, they'll see that it's helpful, and then their companion, their support person, won't need to continue going unless they
Okay.
want to.
Sure. Oh, that's great advice. That's awesome. So, what should attendees bring with them or maybe keep home? And is there any prep work that they need to come to this workshop?
No, attendees need not need to do anything except bring themselves in an open mind tomorrow to the workshop at 10 o'clock. We will provide materials that
Okay.
are related to the workshop topic. And the topic tomorrow is learning about our grief journeys after loss. And so that's what we'll be discussing. What are grief journeys? Because we all go through them.
Yes.
What are the elements and how they relate to an individual person or a couple or a family dynamics. And even in work environments, we actually do trainings for work environments because a loss by one person in a work environment will have an impact on the other coworkers
Ah, great.
and the environment. So we try to teach professionals to create sensitive, supportive environments in their workplace. Also,
Perfect. So, how can listeners today that are listening to our show, how can they register now? And what should we say to someone who is on the fence about maybe showing up tomorrow?
well, the first thing, if you're on the fence about going up tomorrow,
Yeah.
we say jump in.
Jump
There,
in. There we go.
it's not. It is, as I said, this is not something that's going to put you on the hot seat or on the spot.
Uh-huh.
It's just come and listen. You don't have to say anything. You can sit in the back of the room if you're more comfortable with that. There will be questions, I'm sure, from other members in the audience, but if you're available, just come. Everyone who comes will take something meaningful away, either for themselves or for someone they know, either a friend or family member, or a client, patient, um, or someone else that they're supporting on their own grief journey. As
Well,
for how to register, it's on the screen. If you're seeing that now, it's the StephanCenter.org, and Stephen is spelled Stephan, which is different. So people will often put an extra E in there instead of the A, and then they can't find us. But it's AN, and then /program/special event.
perfect. I have one other question before we kind of wrap things up. And we might have another question or two, but this really doesn't matter if you've had a recent loss or maybe a loss maybe 6 months or a year ago. It's really if you're just feeling the need to maybe educate yourself on grief, since this is more of a workshop, it's more of a learning tool than really, like as you mentioned, a support group. Is that correct? So it really doesn't matter if you're early in your grief or maybe you've had something lingering on for several months or years.
Absolutely, multiple years
Okay.
or multiple losses.
Okay.
That's the other thing that happens is that we may have a major loss, and that's something we focus on. And maybe that was a number of years ago, but sometimes it's sort of like California earthquakes. We have ripple losses from that.
Okay.
One loss may follow another loss or trigger another loss. And so information is always important, again, for ourselves, but also for those we live with and we work with and who are our friends and our community members. So everyone, whether you're considered professional in the field of helping, the helping fields, we call that social service,
Yeah.
teaching, counseling, therapy, even things like firefighters and first responders, anyone who is working with people in a helping capacity can benefit for a workshop like tomorrow's.
That's great. Well, I know
Actually,
we're
I wanted to step in.
yes
This being this week, because it happened over a few days, is the anniversary of the fires in
in
Los
Palisades.
Angeles. And I know a lot of people now. I know that LA's a little far from us, but I think that even having a friend who may have lost a home in that fire,
Yep.
when there is, as you said, Victoria, there's a ripple effect. Like in an earthquake, there's a ripple. And we deal with loss in lots of ways. And as you mentioned, Chris, there might be a loss in a job or a loss of a friendship,
Yeah.
because sometimes I think we don't give ourselves enough um, care when something happens like that. Because sometimes, friends are friends for a season, and then you lose a friend for a reason, right? They have all those. And I think that's important too. So this grief workshop is, as you said, Chris, just helping people acknowledge the grief that might be in their life. And it might be, as they've been saying, and Victoria, maybe you can touch on this. I've heard a lot lately about shadow work. Do you guys talk about shadow work at all?
I'm not quite sure exactly what you mean in the way of shadow work. It's used in very different contexts.
That's true. I think shadow work is,
What,
and again, I might not understand it either, but from what I understand, it's basically things that we push down that we haven't dealt with in a long time, and they're in the background or in a shadow of ourselves.
Sure.
And sometimes when we recognize that maybe we've been dealing with some form of grief that we don't recognize, but other people in our life probably recognize in us. When we recognize it, we can deal with it and move on from there. So I think
Well, and
that's
that's true. So what we call that is things that we have suppressed
mm,
because they're too hurtful or painful to address,
right.
or because we had other responsibilities at that time, and so we
Okay.
had to put our own responsibilities first, or the other responsibilities first, and so we put our own needs on the back burner, and
Mm,
that's very, very common. One, because processing your grief is painful, and we
Yeah.
don't like to deal with pain, and two, because often we have other responsibilities, so it's easier to put those responsibilities first, and sometimes it's essential to put those responsibilities first.
Hmm.
right.
Yeah.
So, because I was wondering, there's another follow up for shadowing, which is something also called companion care, which is a different training that we do. So
Oh,
that's
really?
what context you were using shadow. So you're using the context of suppressing feelings
Right.
and loss. And yes, that is one context for shadow.
Okay. So at the Stephan Center, I put the website on the screen. The Stephan Center has help with all forms of grief, and and when you just mentioned caregivers, that is such a blessing. Like, because you're right, caregivers have to be, as you know, Chris, you cared for your
Yep.
wife,
Yeah.
her cancer journey, and you said you put off your own self-care. You
That's
didn't go
right.
to the doctor, you didn't take your vitamins, you didn't
That's right.
exercise because you were focusing on your wife, taking care of her,
Absolutely.
which was lovely and noble. But after a while,
It takes a
that,
toll on yourself. Yep.
It does. And
Yep.
so that's why with the Stephen Center's programs and our educational um, programs and services, we address all of that
Ah,
in different ways, in different situations, and in different formats. So it can be an educational for professionals, or for instance, foster parents, or it can be actual programs for people who are going through a loss or processing the experience of helping somebody else. So
right.
um, it's a big issue. It's a big field, and so I'm happy to have this opportunity. So thank you for sharing a little bit of what
yeah,
we do, and especially what we're doing tomorrow.
Of,
absolutely.
This
of
is the
course.
first time we've done kind of a community workshop. So I appreciate Chris and Mary reaching out to us and partnering with us on this. Most of our educational programs have been targeted to particular groups, whereas here, anyone in the community is invited to come tomorrow.
That's great.
That, that's wonderful. And that's something at Thomas Miller that I think you really excel in, Chris, is that you are so involved in your community and you really want to open up your business to
Yeah,
bringing people in. As you say, most people kind of get weird about coming to a funeral home
that's right.
because of superstition, or they maybe they connect a bad memory to that. But really, it's just a building. And it's a building that we want to bring people as a community together to love on them. And
Right.
by doing these community events, we want people to feel comfortable and safe
That's
uh,
right.
to come and to, because knowing that people who work in a funeral home do sacred work and they have a huge heart and they're there for you, and not just for a funeral, but for all stages of your
That's
life.
right. That's right.
Yeah.
Well, Victoria, I want to thank you for coming on this morning and giving us a little teaser of what we're going to be doing tomorrow at our grief workshop at Thomas Miller Mortuary. Again, it's tomorrow, Saturday, January 10th, 2026. Starts at 10 o'clock in the morning. We'll have some light refreshments there. And it'll be about 2 hours, hour and a half to 2 hours, for you to be educated on how to kind of help and assist others through their grief.
I love
And
it.
I'm looking forward to maybe bringing Victoria back in another month or two and talk more about grief support and other types of grief and other types of programs that she has. We're going to be starting doing more of these types of group community workshops at our funeral home throughout this year and next year. And so we'll be bringing Victoria back on to give us little teasers of what we're going to be doing and starting this great partnership with the Stephan Center. So
Right.
Victoria,
Is that okay
thank
with
you.
you, Victoria?
Thank you, Chris. We're
Oh,
looking
you
forward to
betcha.
partnering with you and meeting with the community and expanding the education that we're both committed to.
Absolutely, because if it starts here, we can blossom it out to other parts of the country. And I have other funeral homes around the country too that would probably love to partner up with you too, and we could do more Zoom events around the country with a lot of independent funeral homes that are wanting to outreach to their community. So this is a great tool to start today, and hopefully we can expand it across the country so we can educate more people, because healing is important and being there for each other is an important. And we all go through it, no matter what type of it. If it's a loss of a loved one, a loss of a job, and a transition in life, we all go through it at some point in our life, no matter what age we are. If we're a young person, a teenager, a young adult, an older person, we all go through it at one point or another. So hopefully we can start this type of healing together tomorrow at 10 o'clock at Thomas Miller Mortuary. Please register through the stephancenter.org. And we will be looking forward to seeing you if not tomorrow, in the coming months or the coming years ahead.
I love it. And also, one last thing, we are going to be doing an event on February 5th. We're going to be doing what we call a praise painting class. It's going to be Valentine's themed.
Yes.
And we're going to have a registration link we'll be putting on all the socials and an email and all that stuff on your website. But again, it's something you can come out and basically honor the loved one you have. And it's a way to express your grief creatively through art. And it doesn't have to be pretty, it's just for you. But I hope that we can get some people to come out. We had such a wonderful time doing this a couple months ago,
Yes.
3 or 4 months ago. We had 20 people in the room, all creating this magic with art, and they just had so much fun. And it allowed them to express their grief and then
Yep.
bring home a little memento that they could hang on to. And so we're going to be bringing more of that in, but again, with a Valentine's theme, because
Yep.
again, grief is just love with nowhere to go.
That's right.
And that saying always makes me tear up, because you wouldn't be grieving someone if you didn't love them so much,
Love them. If you
right?
didn't love them.
Exactly.
Yep.
And so that's going to be great. So it'll be on the 5th, and then we're having our next show, Dialogues About Death, is going to be on February 13th, and we're going to be also talking about a little follow up to that with Valentine's Day, but also because it's Friday the 13th. Tell me what you were saying that we could talk about.
Well, I think we're going to talk about, people always have superstitions. And it's like, oh, it's taboo. It's not good to pre-plan or prepare or plan. So we're going to talk about maybe preparing, and maybe, we're none of us are going to get out of this world alive. So what better way to prepare and plan? And don't be superstitious, because we're all going to be dying. And also, what a gift to give to your loved one on Valentine's Day. Make an appointment to come out and share your thoughts with one of our funeral professionals, and putting all your thoughts on paper and giving that gift to your loved one and to your family about preparing for the inevitable. And so that'll be on Friday the 13th at 9 a.m. And then again, our praise and paint event on February 5th, and that'll be from 2 to 4 in the afternoon at Thomas Miller Mortuary. And again, we always serve some light refreshments. It's a free event, doesn't cost you anything. You just need to register ahead of time so we know how many. And we do have seating is limited because of the space we need for people to have their paint and sip. So we usually limit it to about the first 15 to 20 people. So you want to register early. So once you see registration out there, sign up, because it's on a first come, first served basis.
I love it. Very cool. All right. There's so many fun things going on. Okay. So you'll be seeing the link for the the painting class.
Yeah.
We'll do that. Well, I wanted to wait until after the grief workshop tomorrow, because
Yes.
we want people to get in and register. Again, it's the stephancenter.org/programs/special event. But we'll definitely put the link in the comments. And we hope to see you out there, because I think it'll be something great for you, and it'll be very healing for you. So
Yeah,
again, thank you so much, Victoria, for joining us. She's still hanging in with us, and we'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow.
Thank you. Thank you very much for inviting me this morning. I look forward to seeing many people tomorrow.
Wonderful. Thank you again, Victoria, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Okay.
All right. Take care. You can hang on, Victoria. We'll end the broadcast. All right. Until next month or next event, God bless you guys. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you now. Bye-bye.